All right, new segment. It's called Why Isn't Kristen Trying Hard Enough? Hello, everyone. It's the Pete the Planner Show. Kristen, why aren't you trying hard enough?
I feel like I am trying hard enough. You guys are telling me I'm not doing enough effort or something.
We're just trying to pre-ruin your weekend. Dame coming to us from Abbottabad. Like, where are you, Dame? You're in a cave?
It's light optional at my place today. Apparently, just feeling a little more somber. Pulled it down a little bit today. And no, my camera's not bright today. I don't know what's going on. Everything else is exactly the same. My camera decided it had had enough, and we're dark.
Dame, Kristen and I didn't really know where you were last week in the show, and you were out driving.
I was
like Chevrolet.
That was the plan. That didn't work out to a last minute surprise revelation with some of the transportation. So I stayed around the house. I could have technically joined you, but I decided it was better just to relax for a couple days.
Well, hey, we fully support that. Kristen, are you still reeling from what's wrong?
Well, I was going to say, Damon, you didn't finish what your revelation about being off work but having nowhere to be. I feel like give credit where it's due.
It was amazing. It was the first time I've ever done like a true just staycation type of thing. And frankly, it was 2 wonderful days. I've been missing out for a long time.
I've been trying to okay, please don't do that. I've been trying to tell you that the best PTO is like 2 extra days just randomly. And you don't have commitments to do anything. You just catch up on things around the house. It fills your cup. I've been shouting this for as long as I've been here.
I will try it again, but I do have 2 more days next month to go do the driving thing I was supposed to do last week. So sorry.
So here's a weird one for you. I have a meeting later today in an hour and 28 minutes, I think, to talk about a new podcast.
Oh, let's workshop this. What are we doing here?
Oh.
An additional podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, an additional podcast. I don't know if it'll come to fruition or not. But we'll see. We'll see.
Oh man,
different topic.
So many questions, but we will
Go ahead. I'll do what I can. Go ahead.
Is this a sponsored podcast? I mean, is there a corporate entity behind it?
No.
Okay.
Not exactly.
Angle of the podcast? Yeah. Do we
business.
know the main business? Okay.
Not personal finance.
Other recognizable names on the show?
By you, yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
And in HR business world, yes.
Okay.
What did
Kristen? Yeah.
Pete, what did you tell Damien and I about starting a podcast?
Do you expect me to remember anything that I've said to anyone ever?
Valid. No, you don't remember, because last week when you accused me of giving my age and you didn't ask, I listened to it back. You absolutely did ask me how old I was.
I did. I listened to it back too. I did ask you.
You were like, clearly didn't.
I forgot. Forgot.
Immediately.
Forgot. Anyway, Kristen, you want me to switch your face off of this?
Please, I would appreciate that very much.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
No one wants to look at Dame and I can tell you that.
But you can't see me.
Yeah.
Valid.
Okay. Kristen, Dame, can you plug your ears just for a second? Actually, take out your monitors. Take out your monitors.
Do I have to?
Yes. Take them out.
Listeners, if this backfires on me, I don't know.
Okay, take them out. Take them out. Take them down. Can you hear me right now? Okay, thank you. Kristen, yesterday in Trump's press conference, he talked about how he should get a say on what the Fed does with interest rates if he's president again. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is the perfect thing to bring up the Dame to get him going. Do you want to do it?
I yes, but I'm not good at setting it up. I feel like you have
to
set
this
up.
So much.
But yes.
Okay. Dame, we're back. You're back. You're good to go. Okay.
This is so evil.
Shh. Hey, Dan. You back?
Hey,
Hey,
how are
how's
you
it going,
guys
buddy?
doing?
Nothing. Have you been watching the news last couple days?
I will leave. I will walk off this podcast
You'd
right
run into the
now.
wall because it's dark in there.
Right now.
He has
Damn.
a flashlight.
A couple weeks ago on the show, we were talking about the Fed isn't even an elected body that has all of this power and influence over our economy. Do you know? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You see yesterday that Trump suggested that he should get to set Fed policy if he's president again.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't actually. I've pretty much given up on the news from now until next year.
So what do you think about that?
I think it's a horrible idea. Almost like every single politician on either side of the aisle is giving these days.
Wow, he didn't take the bait.
He
No,
didn't.
I was told to calm down before the show even started, and I'm trying to take that to heart.
Okay, Kristen, are we doing your ideas first, or do you want to do my mortgage thing first?
You always say it's got to start with a good idea, so I guess
Yours.
I go first.
Yours. Okay, let me do some stuff here. Big weekend plans for the people?
Camping.
No.
That's what you could do. Sell your house, camp, and then
Well, she's got a camper. I don't know what the problem is here.
okay. We're getting ready to do Kristen's segment. And Kristen, I don't know much about it, so I'm just gonna have to toss it to you. You're gonna have to be prepared to go.
That's fine.
Wow. Okay.
You want to do the intro too?
Now he's trying to get you back. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us at askpete@petetheplanner.com, and that's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And here's what might happen. We might answer your question, we might not, or we'll just do our own topics because your questions aren't good enough for us.
Wow.
That's a little aggressive. Hi, Dame.
Hi, Pete.
Welcome back from 48 hours in the dark. You took a couple days off last week, and you were back with us.
I'm gradually building myself back into the light.
Kristen Elanius won't stop, can't stop. Ha ha ha. How are you, Kristen?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
You're doing well and doing good.
Yeah.
Okay, Kristen, in the Slack channel that the three of us shared, you teased a game, and you know there's nothing I love more than games on the radio. And so Dame and I are the contestants, and you are the host.
Yes, that is correct. So to set the stage a little bit, in the space that we play in, the three of us professionally here, is that we see so many studies that come out, these attention grabbing headlines around like retirement savings, savings rates, 401k balances. And earlier this week, Dame and I were talking about, I think it was a Vanguard study, maybe, that was talking about the average 401k balance, like by age. And Dame pointed out something to me that I don't think we talk about all that often, which is how that doesn't paint the whole picture. Damien, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. So what we often see, you see them everywhere. Every news outlet has their own version of this. How much should you have saved by whatever age? A recent study by Fidelity 401k says people are behind, whatever it is. That doesn't, as Kristen said, take into account everything. Maybe you've got multiple 401ks because you've had multiple employers scattered over a number of different places. So your average balance may be low, but your aggregate balance may be right on track for what it's supposed to be. So when you see reports like these, take them with a grain of salt because there are other factors that go into the whole story.
All right. Well, that is the setup. Kristen, what are we guessing?
So we're actually going to guess a few different retirement stats that I don't feel like we see as often in headlines that might be a little surprising. So the first one is the percentage of participants. This is Fidelity's Q1 stats, by the way. This is their most recent report. Percentage of participants who received an employer contribution to their 401k.
Ooh.
What percentage do you think?
Can I ask a couple qualifying questions? This is via Fidelity 401ks?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna. Oh, Dame, did you want to go first? I'm sorry, I just jumped in on it. I didn't.
No, I was just letting you cook, man. Go for it.
Let me cook. What do you have, a teen son?
It might.
Oh man, my son is always cooking. I was cooking. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go 74%.
Damien?
I was gonna say 80. So
It's actually 85% of
great. Nice.
Isn't that that's incredible? That is a totally different picture than what is generally painted around retirement statistics, no?
Yeah. So back in 2009, Kristen, when you were in second grade, what grade were you in
I was
2009?
a freshman in high school.
Close.
Same thing. And I remember doing work, financial wellness in the workplace work for a company. And they had just moved coming off of the meltdown of 2008, 2007. You see how I flipped them, because a person normally would say 2007, 2008, but I'm trying to keep it interesting verbally.
Clever.
I noticed that they dropped their 401k match from 3% to 1%. So what you see of the throttling of participation is throttling the match, but it is great to hear that it's still a healthy mid 80s%. Dame, I'm shocked by that. Honestly, I'm not shocked. I'm enlightened. I love it. It's nice.
It's a pleasant surprise, to be sure. I think your comment also goes to further the point or the question of how much is the match they're actually receiving, and that's
here it comes.
That's going to vary wildly
glad
from
that you
employer to employer. But oh man,
I've got a guess.
this could be interesting. All right, are we talking average? Kristen, I'll let you ask the question before we ask you questions.
So the overall average employer contribution rate to a 401k. And I can even give this to you generationally, but we'll do overall first.
Ooh.
So, Dame, something you have to consider here is I would assume this makes you account for what a person puts in to activate the match. So it's a little bit more complicated than a dump in, because it requires people to put money in too.
But we're just talking about participants at this point, because if you're not participating,
employers.
Employer contribution.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, employers. So this has nothing to do with it. Well, it does have something. Okay, I'm going. Oh, no, I'm going.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
4.7%.
Damien?
3.25.
4.8%.
Oh my gosh!
Holy smokes!
I should have my own radio show. I'm so good at this. I missed the last one.
What's interesting is that the boomers are actually the highest, 5.2%, Gen Z the lowest at 3.9%, which I actually did find a little surprising, because I would think that Gen Z has larger participation in defined contribution plans in general. Like,
give me those stats again. I'm sorry.
You're fine. 5.2% for boomers, and then it's progressively decreases to Gen Z, which is 3.9%.
Are you going to get to what's the average percentage match, or are you going to get into more match stuff?
We can. I also have the total savings rate. I have the employee savings rate and the total savings rate.
Can I pull up your money lines? Because I've got it right here.
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay to do that?
It's all aggregated. It's not individualized.
I know. I'm just trying. I'm thinking in real time here. Is it a bad idea to give
if we're not doing well as a group?
Feel free to inflate our numbers.
Let me take a look here. Hold on. Let me take a look. Oh, I got to log out. Okay, Kristen. So we're guessing the average.
So let's do, because I already gave you the employer contribution rate. So it's I can only give you one or the other. So let's just do total savings rate for 401ks.
Okay.
Overall, and then we can look at the generations.
What it was 4 what for the employer?
4.8% for the employer.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm going. I'll let you go, Dame. I've been going the whole time.
9.5.
That was literally my guess. So I'm gonna have to alter it. I'm going 9.8.
It's 14.2%.
What?
No way.
Yes, it is.
I don't. I disagree.
You can. That's fine. But I'm looking at the chart.
All right. We've got a minute left in this segment, and my head is on the floor. 14.8.
Correct. Now, I have some less than ideal statistics that we can talk about in the second segment that provide some clarity to that higher number that we're seeing. But I would like to just take a moment to bask in the fact that that's higher than I would have expected. I'm proud of us collectively.
It's so high, I don't believe it.
We're doing okay.
All right. So let's do this. Let's take a break. I gotta calm down. I'm shocked. That's great news, by the way.
Exactly.
That's great news. Didn't expect it. All right. Everyone's gonna calm down. Gonna take a nap. Gonna take some melatonin or something, and we'll come back. I don't know, and we'll do more of this. I like this game, Kristen. This is a great idea right here on the Pete the Planner show.
To be
No
fair,
way.
this was a joint idea. Dame and I started to look at this earlier this week. I don't know what day. And I was like, wait, we need to stop talking about this because this would make a great segment for the show.
And by look at it, she means I didn't see a single thing. We just were talking about the idea.
Right.
So we got on it by a article or I don't know how we got to it.
It was an article that I didn't share in the weekly news last week about 401k balances by age, by gender. It was like breaking all that down. And that's the type of data we always see. I feel like I don't see these numbers much, if at all. And that's turned into this segment. Also, why are both of you in the dark now?
I'm in the dark.
What's happening?
No, and it just lightened up. Oh, it's because you're
My computer.
the screen.
Oh, I was like, what?
Okay, so I can't. I for some reason I'm struggling to log into the system. I think ours is like right there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like legit, like right there. I think it might be a couple percentage or tenths lower, but it's like right there.
Historically, it's been right in that neighborhood.
Yeah, the more our company has grown, the number sort of naturally comes down. So if you're in your early 20s, we've talked about this a bazillion times on the show. If you're at 12 to 15%, I don't know why I'm giving financial guidance at a commercial break. This is dumb.
You just want to start the next segment? You can roll with
I
it.
don't know. I mean, like, I feel like it breaks up the Jekyll and Hyde of how I like to do this.
What, to tell people on the radio they're going to hear more about this after the break and then to just completely pivot when we come back?
Yeah, come back to like talk about the Tour de France or something. Just like straight in.
The cobblestones.
Where'd he go?
That's a great question. It seems like it might just be you and I now at this point.
What just happened? I don't know whether he's doing this on purpose or not because he did this to Dame and I all pre-show.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if this is a bit. I feel like the audience always thinks it's a bit, and I don't know.
I feel like we're going to get a Slack here in just a minute. It's like, sorry, power's out at the studio. Yeah, at last. All right.
Like, I don't know what to do. So we can't.
We tap dance for a little bit.
What happened?
I'm back. Well, you know how I was struggling to pull up like the stuff for our 401k, like my browser was struggling, so it like shut down. It was laboring, and so record through the browser. I'm back.
Do you have a lot of tabs open? Because you're a little laggy, my man.
And your audio kind of sucks.
But I feel like it's the computer like warming up again, you know?
All right, let's do this. We got time.
There it is.
Perfect.
You're good. You're good.
Back?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I was about to say I can just restart and have you guys entertain folks.
That's what we were about to do anyway. So
Dame said he was going to tap dance.
Tap dance. That's
all right. I'm shutting down a bunch of stuff. My first time hosting a show.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get the hang of it, Pete. Don't worry.
The takeover.
Well, hopefully by the time I get to my new podcast.
Yeah. Oh, your new pod is going to be the Pete the Planner Show Part 2?
No, so the meeting's in an hour and 10 minutes now because time has passed.
Uh-huh.
I think the idea here is I'm not the host.
Oh,
Oh,
I let the
are
other
you my
person-
role? Are you playing my role in the? Or?
Well, I mean, I can't play Kristen's role because Kristen's the real star.
Yeah, she's
But
smart.
yeah, so I got to play your. Yeah, I might be your role or. Yeah,
yeah.
hmm.
I don't know. I'll let you know if it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're gonna record Fridays at 10 a.m. live, though. I do know that. So you can free up that calendar invite.
That's literally going to be what happens someday. Peach is going to delete the calendar invite on like
That'll be
Friday
it.
morning.
Yeah.
Be like, see you never.
I told you that's how the show will end. Is like it just like any star, they just won't air it, and then I'll just delete the calendar invite, and it's over.
No fanfare. Just it's over.
Well, we have no fans, so how can you have
No
fanfare?
It's right. Yeah.
Dame, are you doing a Diet Pepsi commercial?
No, sorry. It was just. Yeah.
Is that a
It's
Do that again, because that sounded like a Diet Coke
Wait,
opening.
hold on. Ready?
Yeah, didn't that time.
Oh, it's the one I put up. Hold on. Nope. Hold on. I gotta do it. I can't.
Man, you're a real Michael Winslow.
I can't get the
I
two-stage
love
snap on that.
X?
I listened to an amazing podcast this week. I mean, like a good one, not like ours. A really good one. It's called Hysterical, and it's by Wondery, the podcast network Wondery.
No.
It is about this strange medical condition that came over these high school girls in like 2012 in this small town in upstate New York. And then like what was actually going on. And it's so good. It is so good. There's like 7 episodes, and it's scientific. It's sort of journalism. It's really good. So it's a documentary.
But they produce it, and they've got like sounds in the background. And is it that kind of podcast where
a good one?
It's a little bit more immersive and
Produced. They have pre-show prep.
So in this podcast meeting I'm having in an hour and 8 minutes, we're going to talk about, are we going to have elements to the show, like actual and like a violin playing and a guy hitting like a tin can.
Yeah.
What?
Kristen, what's the look on your face there?
Well, it's just, why don't we get that?
I'm not in charge of this thing. This is called Kristen & Co.
You're
Maybe
literally in
maybe
charge.
some more effort, Dame. Am I right?
maybe.
What we're
maybe.
lacking is more effort. Kristen, when's your big news come out? When it was, we're got to be 2 weeks away at this
I
point.
think 2 weeks.
The people are going to be very excited.
The people
killing
do
me.
not care.
Killing me.
Danza says Wondering Pods are cooking. 100. Danza is now a 12-year-old boy.
Cooking.
Andy does make a point. We do have Dame's birds as sound effects.
Had.
Lil Spence is back. Happy Friday, peeps. Hello, Lil Spence. Okay, Kristen, is there any? Should we just keep going?
Yes.
I do have an 11:30. Let's keep it moving.
I think I do too. So,
Oh, Kristen's probably just taking some time off. At 11:30. Look at her. She's getting so mad. She's so mad. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Dame, Kristen has put together a little game for us in which we're guessing 401k statistics rate from a Q1 Fidelity report. And here we are. Kristen, you just said that on average, the total contribution between an employer and employee in the first quarter for Fidelity 401ks was 14.8%, which is really high, higher than we thought it would be. And we're very happy about that because, Dame, as you know, 12 to 14% of total income for a person in their younger 20s, if they do that throughout their career, very high chance of a successful retirement. So I love hearing that.
it's surprising news. It's very encouraging news. I don't know if Kristen has those figures broken down by generation for average contribution rate. She's slowly nodding her head up and down. So maybe if we want to take quick time to do that, we could guess overall contribution by generation. What say you, Pete?
Let's do it.
Okay, boomers first. Total savings rate.
Go ahead. Dame, you can go first.
Okay. I will say 17%.
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to go 18.8.
17%.
Hey, Dame and I are not technically boomers, but we definitely identify as boomers.
Yeah, our hearts are there.
Everybody.
Yes. Yeah, and our hairlines.
Yes.
Okay, next generation.
Gen X.
They're like, I don't care. I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Aren't
what that
you guys Gen X?
was. Yeah, but we
Okay.
don't care.
Right.
16.1.
15.5.
15.2.
Oh, Dame, you are crushing me. You are crushing me. This isn't fun anymore. Can we switch topic? Mortgage rates have fallen in the last.
Hey, don't take my segment.
Okay, keep going. No, that's my segment.
Millennials.
Who cares?
It's true.
13.9.
12.
13.2.
Oh,
Ooh, you got that one. You got that one. You got that one.
yeah. Okay.
And
Now,
then Gen Z.
who cares?
Cooking.
Okay. Okay. 9.2.
Oh, I was going to say 9. I'll do 10.
11.
Oh,
Whoa.
Proud of them. That's awesome.
That's actually the best news of this whole thing.
Correct. Yeah.
that's really solid.
Because they're the closest to actually having a sustainable trajectory. That's interesting.
Mhm.
I can't disagree with the data, but this is just Fidelity 401k stuff.
Mhm.
Dame, I don't believe, just an opinion, that the rest of the retirement plan data outside of Fidelity in the United States would not reflect this. Fidelity has a particular brand in the employee benefits space, a little higher end.
Mhm.
I don't buy that this is a thing across the board.
I mean, if we start lumping in traditional like 403b providers on top of all this, these numbers absolutely tank on.
That's a great point. If you just went, if we did this with 403b across the board, it'd go from 14.8 to like
4.8.
Yeah, I was going to say
that might
6.
be a little much, but yeah,
6,
it drops significantly.
Kristen, do you? I know we're just arguing with the data and the segment that you've created, but thoughts?
Actually, I wish I would have. I didn't know that you guys were going to be interested in that because they did have a section on 403bs as well. And so I apologize. I don't have that data handy, but I do have access to some of those numbers as well.
Nothing says what Damon and I are like at a party more than very interested in what the 403b statistics are.
Yikes.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the other side of this that potentially explains why these numbers are higher than you guys expected, which is first, what percentage of 401ks use an auto enrollment feature as of quarter 1 of 2024?
Go ahead, Dame.
87%.
98%.
It's actually it's far less than that. It's about half of that actually. It's
what?
8.9%. However, the average auto enrollment default contribution rate is 4.1%.
Yeah, that was obvious. I was holding up before. The radio audience could not see it. Dame was holding up darkness.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the percentage of workers with a 401k loan across the board.
This is going to hurt my soul. 27%.
34.
You guys, people
11.
are doing as bad as you thought. 7.
Oh yeah, so the economy is doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's what I said. 17.8% of workers have a 401k loan. However, this is broken down by industry, which I find to be incredibly fascinating.
I actually will need you to send me that data for actual work purposes when we're done here.
Yeah.
But can we go ahead and do that here on the air?
Yeah, of course we can. What do you think? Let's look at, I believe the highest one, they didn't call them out specifically, but as I'm scanning the data, is there an industry that you think that would have the highest outstanding loan balance?
Manufacturing.
That's where I was going to go.
No.
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 Financial education.
No. No. But finance and insurance is not doing well. They're higher than the average as an industry at 19.3%.
Falconry.
Airlines.
Oh.
Airlines percentage with an outstanding loan is 26.8%.
Okay. Again, I don't want to beat up the survey here, but here's the thing. This is all Fidelity's data, right? Their proprietary data. Fidelity, again, is going to be serving the biggest companies in America, including airlines that have like 100,000 employees. Okay. So
Right.
Fidelity doesn't do a lot of work at a 500 or 4,000 person machining shop in Southern Indiana, right? Like that's not what they do. So I'm not just saying this so that I can prove that I'm right, that it's manufacturing and not airlines. I just think by the nature of the Fidelity product, the data isn't skewed because the data is the data, but I don't think it really tells the national story. Dame, am I off here?
I just can't wait until next week when we have to read an email from a Fidelity representative saying that's just not true. We represent companies of all sizes across the country.
Yeah, go ahead, send it. Thanks for listening.
So what I find the most interesting is that some of these industries are contributing at really high rates. So airlines, for example, their total savings rate is 18.4%. That's amazing. But they also have the highest percentage of loans outstanding, which this is pretty like a lot of other industries are the same way. Those that have higher contribution rates have higher percentages of loans outstanding. And what's really interesting about that to me is, does that just speak to our need to understand the best way to use today's dollar? What's the point of contributing 18.4% if over a quarter of our population has a loan?
I have a theory.
Which is?
They've got what I call a hybrid workforce.
Mm-hmm.
You've got incredibly high paid pilots like Pilot Jeremy that just I don't know, maybe. And then you just they're putting money in from a tax preservation standpoint. And then you've got a lower end of the wage scale, maybe those flight attendants or baggage workers who because they make so much later, they're the ones borrowing. I don't think the pilots are the ones borrowing. Dame? I got to take a break. You hold that thought. Hold that thought. After the break, Dame's going to land this plane. We're going to talk about what the facts are right here on the Pete the Planner show.
Not to do that to the radio listener again, but there is not enough for us to start a whole nother segment on this.
No,
right.
I just want to get Dame's thought.
You know, wrap
and
it
then
up.
We'll go.
Okay. See, Pete, I think while I sort of agree with you, isn't every industry like that where
Nope.
you have
I don't believe the wage difference are as massive for the number of people involved as they are at something like airlines.
Interesting.
Because pilots are making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Some. Well, yes. It obviously changes on seniority and plane type, role, and route.
All right. Give me a major airline.
Delta.
Okay. Average pilot salary, Delta. Average pilot. This is coming from Glassdoor.
Yeah.
$157,000 to $239,000. Oh, wait, hold on. This is coming through AI now. $215,000 per year, which is 165% higher than the national average. Okay, so $215,000. Now, let's do average flight attendant salary for Delta, $67,000 a year, a quarter. Now, Dame, what are you doing?
I just had a delivery of a vanilla Coke. It's delicious from a local place, and my Thomas was just out here. He handed it
TD,
over.
can he come on?
He already popped out. Sorry,
I've not
Noted
seen
that
him forever.
he just got a fresh cut yesterday. He
Oh, come on! I love a great new haircut.
Hold on.
He has no interest in this.
Bring him back.
Thomas absolutely has interest in this.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, good. All right, I'm
Um,
gonna baggage handler. Hold
give me
on.
a second. Hold on.
I'm making really
Look up
good.
some regional airlines.
34 to 40,000 for a baggage handler. I stand that's a massive difference.
But
Send Thomas back out here.
but also
This is happening in real time.
but also a worker at a lower, because these are just of the people who are participating. So when we get to a lower income level, we often see reduced participation. So isn't that also going to skew the data?
Not if there's auto enroll at 4%.
That's fair.
I know. I understand
That's
this.
fair.
I understand 2 things.
Chris,
the
finally,
one
we've been
of them.
waiting for you.
And the opting out of auto enroll is so small.
Yeah.
Yes, that is absolutely true. I'll send you this study. It's fascinating to look through the different industries.
Yes. TD on the air. Is he gonna give him some headset?
He can have
Yes.
Just stick that in your left ear. You don't have to put it over, but you'll hear it.
Hi.
What's up,
Hello.
Thomas? How are you, buddy?
Good.
I haven't seen you forever.
I guess forever is a couple years.
Fair. Thomas, when does school start?
Next week.
All right. Are you excited? What grade are we doing in a 6th grade?
Yes.
All right. Is that a new school or same school?
Same one.
Same way. So now you're the king of the school is what I'm hearing here.
It's tough. They're all kind of blended together in one building.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. Thomas, swim season. You feeling pretty good right now with swim season?
Well, our swim season just ended, so we're about to start up our next one in maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
I don't know.
Anything else you want to say? I mean, you're on the air to people. It's just a Zoom call. This is like a radio show. Is there anything you want to say to the people?
Hi.
Well,
By the way, do I have your consent to put you on the radio?
I don't think you need it.
Okay. Hey, have a good school year. Okay.
Thank you.
See you, buddy. Well, that was, dude, he's so grown up.
I know. You should see Lucy.
He's so grown up.
Yeah.
All the little kids out of him.
He's changing a lot quickly right now.
Came back very loud.
Oh,
I did, or Pete did.
You did.
who's you?
I'm
Okay.
sorry, Dame.
Yeah. Wow. That was fun. Kristen, was that fun? Kristen, get one of your dogs up.
They're sleeping.
Yeah, Dame, you did come back louder. Did you crank it?
No, I didn't do anything. I can let me just keep talking. I'll turn down just a little bit as
All right,
I'm
there you go, right
going.
there. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
What a-
Blue is tired. She went to the vet yesterday.
What a smorgasbord of fun today is.
Mhm.
Anyway, Thomas is the co-host of my new podcast,
Surprise.
In the End Zone with TD. Is what it's called. Okay. Actually, my podcast is about pets. It's about Kristen's dogs. Nope. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, Dame, we were talking about the pay differences of people in the workplace and why I thought the airline industry is not necessarily representative of the rest of the population. You had some thoughts?
I had thoughts because you told me. I had thoughts at that point, but I think you're right, because there is such a bifurcation in the wages of the employees there, whether you're talking execs or pilots or staff that have been there a long time to entry level positions and more manual labor type positions. It is a wide discrepancy between the top and the bottom, and I don't think there's probably a very robust middle in organizations like that.
Fair. Well said. Kristen, Dame, lovely segment. One of my favorites of the year. Thank you. That was
Yeah.
fun. Speaking of bad segments, y'all, I don't know if you I don't know why I did it. I don't know if you saw the news yesterday, but everywhere you look, people talking about mortgage rates falling aggressively.
Mhm.
I think that's a relative term because they're falling from or to like a it's like a year low or something like that, or even maybe a little more than that. But I would argue that people are probably rushing to refinance a little sooner than they should. So this segment is called "Are People Refinancing Sooner Than They Should?"
Oh,
Nailed it.
Dame, when you were not on the show last week, Kristen laughed at me twice.
That's true.
really?
Yeah, audibly.
Kristen, I'm so proud of you.
I'm not.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna play a little game. I've got some charts from Freddie Mac. Okay, these some charts from Freddie Mac, and I'm gonna play some games here.
Okay.
In the last 3 years, what was the average within the last 3 years, going back to, let's say, August 5th of 2021.
Okay.
Along that 3-year period, some would call it 36 months.
Mhm.
What period of time, what day or month of that 36 months is the lowest interest rates? I'll start with Dame. Dame, what was the lowest average interest rates in the last 3 years? When was it within that last 36 months?
I will say, can we give like a season, like spring of
Sure,
whatever?
yes. Yep.
Okay. Let's go with spring of 22.
Spring of 22. Okay. Tracking that answer. Got it. Christy?
So that would have been just over 2 years ago. I think it's a little after that. I think that he was a little early on that.
So you're going to say summer of
summer.
22.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I told you that the average rate was the lowest exactly 36 months ago in the August of 2021?
I believe it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be terribly surprised by that.
Dame, what was the average 30-year mortgage rate on August 5th of 2021?
3 1/8.
Okay, 3
The
and an 8.
average?
Yeah. Kristen?
Mhm. I think that's too low then. So let's go 3.5.
Are you guys sitting down?
Yes.
2.77%.
Wow.
Okay. So, friends, when the headlines come out this week that the average 30-year mortgage has fallen to 6.4% from a high of, what was the high in this time frame, and when was the high in this time frame? Kristen, I'm going to start with what was the 30-year average high, and then you got to give me the number, and then you got to give me a month, and then Dane will do the same.
I'm going to go 7 1/8 was the high.
7. Now I got to convert fractions to decimals, and we don't have Thomas here who's in middle school who can easily do that.
Isn't it 0.125?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 7.125
Yes.
in when?
I believe that would have been, let's call that, I was going to say between 6 months and a year. So call that 9 months ago. Oh, what's
Can you still hear me?
We
Correct.
can still hear you, Dame. Yes. Dame's video just went. Okay. 9 months and a year to a year away?
No, 9 months ago. So
Okay.
yeah, last December would
Sure.
that be? Yeah.
Dame, somehow your lighting's gotten better. What we can hear you fine though. What's the percentage and when?
I will go with 7.5. And what was the date you said, Kristen? I couldn't hear anything.
December, I think.
I will say June of this year.
7.79%
Oh my.
in October of last year, the end of October of 2023. For those that are wondering why I'm guffawing, Dame's having camera problems today. It was super dark. Then it went completely black, and then it came back perfect, and it's like unbelievable. It looks like a Hollywood movie set, and it's a radio show, so no one cares. So that is to say, the high from, we'll call it 10 months ago, was 7.79%. So some people bought houses then, and they got mortgages then.
Mm-hmm.
It is now 1.3% lower right now. Kristen, in a normal environment where you don't really know directionally where interest rates are going, you would refinance at 1.3%, would you not?
Yeah, you would. Usually that 1% is where we start having that conversation in earnest. Obviously, there's other factors, but that's a benchmark generally.
Dame?
Especially if you got that 779 or higher, because maybe you had some credit issues going on at that point in time, and maybe they've kind of cleaned themselves up a little bit. Credit scores a little bit better. You qualify for a better rate. You might be looking at closer to 1.5% or more difference between what you actually got your mortgage for not that long ago to what you can get now. And that could be some significant savings if you can get that refinanced at a reasonable cost.
I'm going to be serious for a moment, which is very difficult for me. So I want you to know I'm taking all the energy I have and putting it into the next few words. Several years ago, I made a financial decision related to my mortgage that changed my financial life forever. Okay. I had a 30-year mortgage that was relatively high. There was a change in interest rate. And instead of refinancing to a 30-year mortgage, I refinanced to a 15-year mortgage because the rate fall was so intense that it made it go down up like $100 a month instead of trying to save like $700 a month on a 30-year mortgage payment. Right now, 15-year mortgage payments on average, or not payments, rates, 5.63%, which is over 2 points less than what this 30-year mortgage was in October. This does not work for everyone. It just doesn't. Kristen, in fact, is making a face. Kristen, tell me what your face is saying.
Well, the thing is, you also have to take into consideration where we think we are in the interest rate environment longer term, because
Absolutely.
if we're in a decreasing interest rate environment, you don't want to refinance, especially if your break even on that refinance is like 3 years, because the hope and the signals are that interest rates are headed down. It might be too soon, even if it makes sense now.
I agree. You've said it on this show. I've stolen it, and I think you got it from Stacy. You marry the house, you date the rate.
Ew. I didn't say that.
Someone said it.
You have absolutely said that.
Hey.
Find the footage. It doesn't exist.
All right. My boss just told me to spend time combing through footage.
Find it.
Hey, Kristen, this sounds aggressive. You're a liar. You said that on the show.
I have not said that.
You've absolutely said it.
I have either made fun of people who've said that or said you should not do that, but I
cannot wait till I
find it.
Oh my gosh. Thank God for AI. Let's all calm down. Coming up after the break. Should you marry the house, date the rate? We'll ask Kristen. All that's next right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. 100% you've said it on the show.
Guarantee it.
Find it. You guys are confusing the fact that I say that I don't think that interest rates should impact whether you can objectively afford a house or not, and a saying that you've heard on TikTok and other socials. I have never said that. You won't find it.
Wait, so you're saying you said it, but you've quoted someone else?
No. Okay. Pause. But I've said that I was quoting someone else. Like, I saw this on social media and beware of this. Those words might have come out of my mouth, but not in support of saying them.
So here's the thing, Pete. If we took the time to find where she said that and then showed it to her and the rest of the audience at the same time, we would still lose by doing that.
Dame, are you in are solar flares in the area? Now your mic is cutting out.
Your mic was cutting out last segment.
Your mic was cutting out in the last segment.
My mic's?
Yes.
What is going on?
I don't know.
Okay, let's just finish the show so I can get to a different podcast.
I hope they have better technology.
Well, now I gotta reset my thing.
It's fine now. It was only for like there was a little bit right before you asked me about whether someone should ultimately refinance that Dame and I were both kind of looking at each other like, are you hearing that? Because I'm hearing that.
This
Okay.
camera, by the way, is the onboard camera
Exactly.
from my laptop. That's not the good camera.
The onboard.
I don't know
What are you, an Indy car?
Yes.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner show, is Dolce & Gabbana's Fefe. Dolce & Gabbana's Fefe Fragrance Mist is the brand's debut for dogs. It draws its inspiration from the unwavering love for Domenico Dolce's loyal companion, Fefe. This gentle and delicate scent is crafted for a playful beauty routine. This inaugural alcohol-free fragrance mist is tailored specifically for dogs. It's an olfactory masterpiece featuring the cocooning and warm notes of ylang, that's Y-L-A-N-G, ylang, the clean and enveloping touch of musk, not elan, and the woody, creamy undertones of sandalwood. The fragrance is housed in a sleek green lacquered glass bottle adorned with a vibrant red metal cap and a precious 24-karat gold-plated paw. All right, Kristen, you care about your dogs more than you care about your co-hosts. What would it cost to make your dogs smell better than your co-hosts?
Is it an ounce?
Okay, that is a great question.
I feel like it's usually a third of an ounce and an ounce are the sizes.
You shop dog perfume frequently?
No, just regular.
Yeah, it's
the bottle on the screen for those who can't see it. It looks like it would be an ounce. I'm gonna go 175.
Okay. Dame.
I'm going into brain lock on something like this. It's $250.
$126.36. I had to convert it from pounds. Not the worst waste of money of the week of the show ever, but something we probably shouldn't spend our money on. Dame, what's in the news this week?
How is that not one of the worst wastes of money? Okay.
Because dogs can stink, and you don't want them to stink, so you got to spritz them with some Fifi. Everyone knows that.
Credit card debt is on the rise. Americans now owe a record $1.14 trillion on their credit cards, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York report. The average balance per consumer, stands at
$6,000. $6,000.
Kristen.
$6,800.
$63.29, up 4.8% year over year, according to a separate quarterly industry report from TransUnion. Credit card delinquency rates are also higher across the board. Roughly, Peter.
Are you looking at what sort of metric? Percentage point or days?
Over the last year, roughly this percent of credit card balances transitioned into delinquency.
37%.
18.
9.1% of credit card balances transitioned.
I'm a pessimist. Everyone knows this.
Here's a great quote. Borrowers with revolving debt, quote, are maxing out their credit cards, said Michelle Ranieri, vice president head of U.S. research and consulting at TransUnion. Quote, that's usually a pretty good indicator that people are stretched.
Wow.
Man, Jiminy Christmas. That's who my new podcast is with. It's
Scholar.
Michelle Ranieri. Yeah, it's called the Ms. Obvious Show. So I'm the co-host.
That'll be great. I can't wait to hear you talk about cars and stuff like that. It'll be wonderful.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. When Americans go car shopping this summer, they're asking automakers to do one thing: skimp my ride. Sales of smaller vehicles that are cheaper than their beefier counterparts are on the rise this year, according to Cox Automotive data. Fed up with skyrocketing car prices, people are choosing more affordable options and shunning SUVs and pickup trucks that have long dominated the market. Overall sales growth is at 2% for the year, and yet Compact car sales are up 18%. Compact SUV sales are up 12%. Meanwhile, sorry, go ahead, Kristen.
Time out. I have a question.
Sorry.
What's a compact SUV?
It's something small like the Chevy Trax. The Chevy Trax.
I call them a cute ute, right? It's
very small.
That's what I call them.
Interesting. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Meanwhile, sales of pickup trucks that appear during every commercial break on NFL Sundays have declined by 4%.
So here's the thing. Interest rates were so high. I think this is just explained via interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you buy a $50,000, $80,000 pickup truck at an 8% interest rate. That's a spicy meatball.
Average cost of pickup trucks is now above $60,000 in the U.S.
I don't care for that.
Kristen, if like, I assume you've driven a pickup truck.
Once or twice. Yeah.
Okay. Dame, I know you've driven a pick 'em up truck.
Uh-huh.
I cannot fathom my primary vehicle being a pickup truck as a suburban dweller.
Yeah.
Yet, in the burbs of which I live, there are a lot of pickup trucks with nothing in the back of them.
Mhm.
What's the appeal? What am I missing? Is it like a toughness that I don't have?
They are very comfortable, great view of the road, and a lot of people with very large incomes can have some tax advantages for going for big, heavy vehicles.
Wow, that was one of the best answers this show has ever held.
Honestly.
What else is in the news?
Millions of nurses' visits to Medicare recipients' homes aren't to treat people, but to make money for insurance companies. Some private Medicare Advantage insurers push nurses to run screening tests and add unusual diagnoses that entitle the companies to extra money, a Wall Street Journal investigation found. The roughly hour-long stops turned into $1,818 more per visit on average from 2018 to 2021, about $15 billion in total. Many insurer-driven diagnoses were wrong or highly questionable. Private insurers denied using inaccurate diagnoses to jack up their payments because, of course, they would. The Medicare Payment Advisory Commission, a nonpartisan agency that advises Congress, recommended not using home visit diagnoses towards extra payments, and the overseeing inspector general advised reconsidering using these diagnoses as well. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services said the agency recently increased its diagnosis audits and is making some diagnoses ineligible for extra payments.
I have such mixed feelings, right? Because Chris, like you want to figure out if there's something else wrong with someone, right?
Sure. Or
but if it's like a revenue producing strategy, that's a little, man, it feels like a mechanic or a vet. That's awkward. Any vets that listen to the show? I have no problem with vets. Vets are great. And I mean, I don't mean veterans. I mean, but I do feel good about veterans and veterinarians. But sometimes you take your dog to the vet and you're like, hey, it's got a little cough. And then you leave and you actually had to trade in your pickup truck to get off the premises. And that's the challenge with veterinary medicine.
Not my experience.
What are you, dating a vet? Why are you so pro vet now?
My best friend's a vet.
Close enough.
Do they listen to the show?
No, she doesn't.
Then who cares? I mean,
don't care.
Dame, do you have anything else in the news?
Listen, it's not a contest, but if it was, Warren Buffett would be winning. Berkshire Hathaway now owns more treasury bills than the U.S. Federal Reserve. The current score, $234.6 billion to $195.3 billion.
Do you know where China ranks within that? Does the article say? Because doesn't China own a bunch of treasury bills?
They're like third, somewhere between third and fifth. The last time I looked in line, they're down, but it's like the government and other individuals and a big entity. But China's down the list, but up there.
Kristen, you know how I know Dame and I are good friends is that he occasionally looks at who owns the most T-bills. The last time he looked, China was pretty high on the list. Like that's how I know.
It was a couple years, I mean, at least a year ago.
You guys are so fun.
Probably, I know. I'm having friends over this weekend to hang out and stay at our house. And what?
Kristen, did you get that invitation?
No, friends, like people who tolerate me off work hours.
We're paid to be here.
I signed the paycheck here. These people are not paid. Anyway, that's all we have time for at the show this week. Hey, I'm sending you good vibes because good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner, and this is the Pete the Planner show. You guys, I didn't want to talk about it on the air, but I have something I want to talk about.
Well, you've got 30 minutes till your next meeting.
That's true. I got to prep for it too. I like to be prepared anytime I'm involved with radio stuff. You guys, a real life case accusation this week of stolen valor. Now, look, here's the thing. I am not here to talk about whether it is or is not. Arguably, don't even really care. But anytime stolen valor is talked about on a national stage, it reminds me how much I love YouTube videos of stolen valor. So earlier this week, when stolen valor was a big headline, I decided to go down the dark, dark path of stolen valor YouTube. And let me tell you, it's amazing. Dame, there are 2 elements to every stolen valor video.
Yes.
And I would like to go through them with you now, but I would also like for both of you to guess what are omnipresent. There are 2 elements that are omnipresent in every stolen valor video you will find on YouTube. There are 2 elements.
White people.
What did you say? Did you say white people?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Yes. I mean, I hadn't really accounted that there's a 3rd element. But yeah, there's often whites present. Kristen, had you considered?
I had not considered the statistical obvious, which is that people are present. What about do you mean that this person is in uniform, or do you mean that they are just trying to gain access by saying they had service?
Yeah, I mean, so you're. I think you're hitting on one. So I'll give it to you. There's a uniform, and it's of very poor quality. Like it is a middle school sewing project where your only material is felt, and it's terrible.
It's giving Rambo usually, I feel.
No, I think it's giving like I stole this from a museum. And it's not the current Marine uniform. It's one from 1875.
Rambo.
Like reenactment of the Civil War. It's really what it gives.
And things that people like you and I wouldn't recognize, but are easily discernible by people who are actually in the military. Like if they have something out of place that it would normally be on the right side of the chest versus the left side of the chest, or it's too low on the sleeve or something like that. It's stuff like that is always present.
And the best part of every stolen valor video is the insistence, dare I say, the requirement to literally scream the words stolen valor. You have to yell stolen valor at someone when you accuse them of stolen valor, or it's not going to make it to YouTube. And that's the best part.
Yeah.
I don't know why I find it so interesting. It's so peculiar.
I think the reason I find it so interesting is because I'm like, what are we ultimately gaining here by wearing what appears to be your what they call camis in the Marine Corps to the airport to then get on a plane first so you can sit there longer than everyone else? You know who's last to board the plane? Me.
I don't say people with not good status.
Well, me. Yeah. But also on purpose, me. I'm not, when they call group 6, I'm not like running up there to sit down. I don't even understand the appeal of that.
It's the best show on the internet.
Period.
Have you seen
top 1%?
Have you seen the guy who busts people claiming to be Navy SEALs?
No.
He's got.
You're gonna need a link.
Yeah, he's got like a database. He's a former SEAL database. He will show up to people's houses. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like if you were gonna claim to have been in some sort of have some sort of military service, why would you claim that? of all of the, like, that's the easiest one to disprove. Like, I don't know.
Why don't you say you're like a cop or a firefighter if you're going for like discounts at local places, or trying to? It'd be so much easier to get away with.
In the wrong scenario with the wrong context, if someone introduces themselves as a Navy SEAL, you feel like they're delusional. You're like, "Oh, I'm a purple dolphin," like, because it's just like, if you're not thinking military service, it's a really weird thing to say. In fact, I may have told this story on the show a couple year ago. I don't know, could have been 3 decades. I was at a business meeting. This guy shook my hand hard. Like, I thought Danica Patrick was crushing my grip. And he's like, rah, 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 rah. He's hello. And I was like, hey, how's it going? And then someone's like, he's a Navy SEAL. And I'm like, well, thank you for your service, right? Appreciate it. Also, well, I'm a purple porpoise. Like, it seemed out of context to me. All right, let's go.
I think you're 1 second. I think you are missing a bigger part of the story. Danica Patrick is crushing your hand.
Well, she's got one of the famously world's most famous handshakes.
Oh, really? I've never heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was something people knew. Danica Patrick has one of the world's firmest handshakes. A former IndyCar driver. She's, I believe, a commentator now in the motorsports world. She will break your hand.
Interesting.
I have shaken her hand, and it nearly broke my hand.
Wow.
Kristen doesn't care. All right, that's all we've got. Stay getting money.